Hey everybody, how's it going? I have a piece of news that's probably going to really piss off Paul at the store as a user of Adobe Creative Suite 2. He still does all of his touch-up and editing work in CS2. So this is something that really ties into a lot of what we talk about here on the channel, which is right to repair, but more so the overarching issue that I've come to learn about over the past few years, that I've come to learn about by just meeting some of you, whether online or in person, who talk about it regularly. The idea that more and more companies want to take away your ability to own anything. That most companies want you to rent whatever it is they're giving you, whether it is a device or an ability to use your product, a piece of software. They want you to rent it in perpetuity rather than actually own it. We're moving away from an ownership model for everything. And I guess with where the price of housing is going now, actually, we're going to be moving away from the ownership model of your home very soon. That's a topic for an entirely other video. So this has to do with Adobe Creative Suite. Creative Suite 5, 5.5, and 6. If you've registered or purchased it, you can download it, you can use it, great. Creative Suite 2 through 4, you can no longer reinstall them even if you have the original installation disks. Even if you have the original installation disks, you cannot install it. The aging activation service for those apps had to be retired. So the idea is with a lot of software to prevent software piracy, rather than just have a code that you enter that's in the box and that's done, it connects to an activation server to make sure you're not pirating it. This is not a foolproof way of doing it. There are many websites out there filled with cracked software, and those are pieces of software that have an activation server, and it's fairly simple for people in release groups to get around it. This is actually an amazing argument in favor of piracy. If you pirated Adobe Creative Suite 4, you can still use it today. If you paid full sticker price for Adobe Creative Suite 4 and your machine dies and you reinstall the OS and you need to reinstall the program, you can take that program that you paid full price for and it won't work. A pirated version will work. The actual original doesn't. Do you think they're going to give you a voucher and say, hey, I know we screwed up the software that you already paid for. Here's a coupon that allows you to get CS5 for free. Of course not. Of course not. And I get it. I get what people are going to say. Lewis, this is old software. If you're still using something released in 2008, then you deserve for it to not work anymore. And that's the problem. That's the problem. The problem isn't the corporate lobbyists. It isn't other companies doing horrible things. To some extent, it winds up being us. Because anytime something like this happens, why'd you spill something on it? Oh, why? Well, why don't they make the chip available so that I could fix it? Why'd you spill something on it? Well, I need my data, and this died. And it looks like I need to get access to this chip in order to fix my board to get my data, but they don't allow me to. Rather than come together and say, hey, company, why don't you allow us to buy this $5 chip to fix this $3,000 project? We look at them and then go, why didn't you back up your data? Why didn't you get AppleCare? You should have paid for the car's extended warranty. Maybe your car's extended warranty would cover your MacBook repair. We always point the finger at each other, rather than at the people that are actually screwing us. This is not surprising to me at all. And sadly, it's not surprising to me that this article came out 5 months ago and it didn't seem to get much outrage. Because again, it's an old piece of software, and you're probably going to hear a lot of people saying, well, if you're still using something that old, you deserve for it to not work. I'm sure there's going to be a ton of comments on it like that. But and you know what? Maybe you actually believe that. But do you believe that it should be the case that when a hospital has a $35,000 to $40,000 operating table that they bought last year, and the motor that causes it to go up and down until it dies, that they should have to buy an entirely new operating table rather than be able to buy the motor? Do you think that it's okay that many major laptop manufacturers have exclusivity agreements with the companies that make the chips that go into their products, so that if you have a $5 issue on a $3,000 product, you just got to go back to the manufacturer? Do you think it's okay that more and more car manufacturers are trying to prevent you from being able to work on their car or service their cars, particularly now with electric vehicles? Even though electric vehicles are not more difficult to maintain, if anything, they should be easier to maintain because it's simpler. This is something that's moving into every area. And the more we allow this continual encroachment on our freedom and our ability to actually own what we bought, the more it's going to continue into the future. This is just a small example of what is being taken away from us every single day. And it's happening increment by increment by increment by increment. And this may be an increment where you're like, who cares? That increment doesn't affect me. It's not about this particular increment. And it's not about just people that are using 13-year-old software. It's about what it means going forward if we accept this in this instance right now. You may be okay with this increment, but are you okay with that one or that one or that one or that one or that one? Probably not. And when it affects you, maybe somebody who thinks that that issue doesn't matter will go, well, why didn't you just, I don't know, be a better farmer and farm the way you're supposed to? Then you wouldn't be bitching about John Deere in the dealership or whatever. It's ridiculous. I try to push back on it universally, evenly, even when it doesn't affect me. That's why I talk about it when it comes to software. That's why I talk about it when it comes to medical device repair, which has nothing to do with me. That's why I bring it up on this channel and show up to lobbying events and testify in front of legislatures even when it has to do with farm equipment, which has nothing to do with me. Because the same underlying principle that when you buy something, you fucking own it, not the damn company that made it. And it's a principle that just keeps going away and away and away with each passing day, with each passing year. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. That's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something. At the end of the day, if you pirated Creative Suite 2, 3, or 4, you are better off than the people that actually paid for it. It's fucked up, but it's true. What do you think, Mr. Clinton? Mr. Clinton, would you pay for that? Or do you pirate your CS4? Mr. Clinton has nothing to say. See you all in the next video. Bye now.